Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am Mary, and I'm so excited to have Emily and April today. Both of them are sub-co-hosts, and we're hoping that they will become full-time co-hosts in the future. So if everything works out, we certainly hope this could be something that you guys will be seeing more often. But welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So today, we might as well just get started. We're going to have Dr. Brad Meyer, and he is from the Iowa area, I think the Okoboji area. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, Mary.
Hey, you bet. I understand it was a busy day for you. Tell us what you were up to.
Well, Dr. Fogarty, my friend and colleague, and I are starting up a wellness clinic, regenerative medicine clinic, where we are working on improving everybody's performance. Performance at the cellular level. So that's going to include hyperbaric medicine, medicine that's going to that's quite natural in nature, meaning that hasn't been produced by big pharma, to fuel our bodies to prevent infection, to prevent something like a COVID-19, but also to treat the post effects of the COVID-19 virus should one succumb to it.
Okay, so now you are a doctor of osteopathic medicine, yes?
Correct.
All right, and so you have been with Dr. Fogarty for a while. You guys are working together on some issues, but it's my understanding that, why don't you tell our viewers, because you've been on our show before, so I'm very familiar with your background, but tell our viewers what happened and why you are no longer practicing at a specific clinic in Iowa.
Sure. Well, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, started to look for early treatments for patients so they didn't end up in the hospital. So if we could improve vitamin D levels or vitamin C, treat early outpatient with something like ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, I thought that was going to be in the best interests of everybody. We want to stay ahead of the viral replication with COVID-19 before they get very ill and end up in the hospital, and then we're fighting a big uphill battle. And so I progressed through the use of the hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin through the late summer and fall and winter, and saw tremendous success with early treatment and prevention of the COVID-19 virus. And literally, for those patients that would take it after 1 or 2 days, it was like a light switch. Their symptoms, the body aches, fatigue, would go away. It was a pretty dramatic change, and the evidence was very good across the world. It's been around for a long time, both the hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. So, and it was being used around the world and continues to be used around the world to combat the coronavirus, and very successfully used in largely in other countries. But the corporate medical tyranny, that structure that exists in many places, including our country, where the small mom and pop doctor clinics got bought up over time, and the corporate entities then became kind of one and the same, connected to the government. And at that point, directives that came down from something like the CDC or the federal government, the hospitals were following those recommendations, hook, line, and sinker. And it was many times I found that it was tied to reimbursement. And so if we were using alternatives that have been around a long time that are quite inexpensive, the medical industry cannot profit from that. And so I was having great success telling my patients about it, treating them, talking to them about and giving proper informed consent about the COVID-19 injection or jab, and just to make sure they were aware of this being a trial, quote unquote, vaccine. And the Avera headquarters came to my clinic and told me that I should stop prescribing ivermectin, and that I needed to stop talking about the injection openly with my patients because it could cause confusion, quote unquote, confusion in the community. And so, but the ultimate straw that broke the camel's back was the NAC play, which that's essentially food, as Dr. Fogarty likes to call it, and it's true. It's like a nutraceutical that we can get over the counter, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, and but it's also available in IV form. And so, a patient that I was caring for in the hospital in Northwest Iowa, a friend of mine, a realtor in town, she got sick with COVID-19, and I told her I wasn't going to be allowed to prescribe ivermectin because I had tried on a couple of other occasions in the hospital, and my order was overridden. And so those patients never got the ivermectin in the hospital and subsequently passed away. So I knew that I was not going to have success with the ivermectin route. So I called up Dr. Fogarty, and who's, as you know, a radiologist from Bismarck, and I said, Dr. Fogarty, Ted, where's the window here? Because we got a sick gal and friend that's close to heading to the ICU with increased oxygen requirements. Where's the window? And we talked about N-acetylcysteine, and there's quite a bit of studies out there on it, and we commonly use it for Tylenol overdose in hospitals, or for contrast toxicity before a CAT scan to help with the kidneys and their function. So, but interestingly, one of the doctors and nephrologists in Sioux Falls, he'd been practicing many years, had some success in early 2020 with the IV N-acetylcysteine in the ICU setting, treating COVID-19. And Dr. Fogarty and him had conversations back and forth, emails, correspondence, but the Avera Council said that they were not going to authorize the use of IV N-acetylcysteine and treat as part of the treatment for COVID-19. So with that in mind, we were going to try it in the hospital. And I put the order in, and praise the Lord, the order went through, and my patient ended up leaving the hospital 48 hours later and is doing great today. However, Monday morning rolled around, the start of the week. I believe we kept a patient out of the hospital, or out of the ICU, and the thanks that I got Monday morning for that was termination without cause, is what I was told. So that started my extreme wake up of the medical establishment. You know, I had feelings about it over time, and who's in control, who makes the decisions, and so. You know, I started to look at other options out there besides what the CDC or the government or Big Pharma was recommending as far as treatments and prevention of COVID-19, because I'm like, well, if they're not allowing me to do these things that are working, why is that? And what else is there out there that most physicians don't know about that could be helping people?
Right on. I tell you what, hold your thought, because we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have been visiting with Dr. Brad Meyer, and he's over in Iowa and has shared so much information. I know this show is going to go really fast because there's just so much to share, and we spin through it. But let's talk about that Arkansas case. I have some quotes that I want to put up. It was there was a jail in Arkansas that was using, or the doctor there was using ivermectin on the inmates, and they were getting healed. They were being cured with the ivermectin. Anyway, there was 531 cases, 67% of the inmates had the vaccine, and all but one of them were cured. There was 0 deaths and 1 inmate was hospitalized. And so let's bring up that first quote from the article. I want to be 100% accurate. It says, "Whatever a doctor prescribes that is not in my bailiwick," Helder told the members of the Washington County Quorum Court, the county's governing body. Helder did not immediately respond to a call from the Associated Press, and a spokesperson for the sheriff's office referred questions to Karas. Anyway, they wouldn't respond. So let's pop the next one up. I might have got these backwards. Basically, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved ivermectin in both people and animals for some parasitic worms and for head, lice, and skin conditions. The FDA has not approved its use in treating or preventing COVID in humans. Using any treatment for COVID-19 that is not approved or authorized by the FDA unless part of a clinical trial can cause serious harm. So they're saying there's going to be serious harm, but yet we have doctors across the country that are using ivermectin.
Yep.
And so pop up this next one, please. Eva Madison, a member of the Quorum Court, called the use of the drug on inmates disturbing, noting that they are not in a position to seek a second opinion from physicians about its use. So they're saying that the inmates couldn't get a second opinion because it's just one doctor. And are we allowing him to effectively experiment on our detainees at our jail with no oversight? It's like, are you kidding me? We have a government right now who's using us as an experiment.
We are the experiment. Yes, absolutely. That's why our youngsters can't have it.
Right?
Yeah. Right?
And now they're trying to push it on the younger ones, though. And was there one more quote? I don't want to have to read the whole article, but I thought there was one more. Okay, they had said that there was 531 cases and 0 deaths and only 1 inmate hospitalized. There was 67% of the jail inmates had been vaccinated. she'd also had it twice and has taken ivermectin, defended administering it to the patients. Do you want us to try to fight like we're at the beaches of Normandy, or do you want me to tell what a whole lot of people to do, which is go home and ride it out and go to the ER when your lips turn blue? So that's what the doctor had said. And it's like, and that is basically the case, and that's what's going on in our country today. Yeah. It's like they're sending these patients home, and if you get worse, go ahead and go to the ER. So your thoughts on that, doctor?
Amen. I couldn't have said it much better myself. That sounds like good medicine that doctor was practicing, with the exception of the fact that those inmates were, who knows about if they received the informed consent with those injections, the COVID injections, right. But specifically as related to the ivermectin management, absolutely. The interesting thing about ivermectin is they like to play word games. The establishment, the CDC, the FDA, to make things work in their favor. And so we always have to look at things with a wary eye and not be so trustful of these entities and principalities, municipalities that we used to put a lot of faith in, that have let us down over and over again. And it's becoming quite obvious how this is so. And, for instance, the ivermectin, they like to say, when I say word games, they call it an anti-parasitic drug. Well, that's a classification given to it by the pharmaceutical companies. So it also, it's a chemical. It's a product produced by a pharmaceutical company that, yes, it can be used for that, but it has many other uses. It has anti-inflammatory effects. It has antiviral effects. It stops viral replication. And so you could just as easily classify this medication as antiviral or anti-inflammatory as antiparasitic. But they would like to keep it within that narrow window because that ivermectin we're talking about has been around many, many years and has been proven to be exceedingly safe to use from a side effect profile. And when the patent runs out on a medication, then these companies can't make money on it anymore. And so therein lies the word games that even though, clinically in other countries, and like this jail in Arkansas showed, there's significant benefits in preventing COVID-19, but also treating it and preventing hospitalization, also treating patients in the hospital with it so that they don't get sicker with it. So again, 20% of medications that physicians normally prescribe are what we call off-label. And so one medication may have a bunch of different uses. And so there's no difference with ivermectin. It just so happens that the ivermectin is treating COVID-19 and preventing it. And that is effectively preventing profit to be made on all these other medications that have come along, like an IV remdesivir.
And so also, isn't there some truth to, if there is a cure to a medical condition, say the COVID-19, if there is something that can cure it, you cannot have a vaccine. You cannot call it a vaccine because there's a cure for an ailment. Can you explain that? You got about 2 minutes.
Sure. So you're absolutely right, Mary, that under these emergency mandate orders, that these companies do have to follow some rules, and the rules that will allow them to put a vaccine, quote unquote, vaccine out sooner than they may normally do so would be under a case of an emergency. So if a government body is able to classify a situation as an emergency, that gives the go-ahead for these companies to forego the normal trials that would be completed on a medication, a vaccine. And with a vaccine, as we know, typically it takes 5 to 10 years to get a normal approval. And because you got to look at the long-term effects of a vaccine 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, 10 years after administration to make sure that there were no side effects and long-lasting problems. Well, we forgot that, you know, when our doctors are out there saying, I had it, I took it, it's safe, I didn't have a reaction, they still can't answer, well, what happens 6 months, 12 months, 3, 5, 10 years from now? And so, again, the emergency clause allows them to push that forward. And if you've got a treatment like ivermectin or N-acetylcysteine, then that's the game over for the emergency classification. Can't have an emergency if you have something that's going to treat it.
Yep.
Amen. All right, well, we have run out of time this second segment as well. We're not even getting
so
a
many
chance.
questions.
I know. We're going to get to some questions after this, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
But how will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
From Lambeau Field to your living room. Catch all the Green Bay Packers preseason games exclusively on Beck Sports. Available on KRDK, KNDB, or KNDN TV. The Pack take on the Houston Texans August 14th, followed by the New York Jets August 21st, and end off the preseason with the Buffalo Bills August 28th. Check Beck.Sports to find more scheduling and local channel information.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're spinning through this day, I tell you. It's too bad Brad couldn't be in studio. It always just makes it even better. But Dr. Brad, we were just talking on the break that ivermectin has actually, in 2015, was given the Nobel Peace Prize for everything that it does for patients. It's just amazing. Can you expand on that a little bit? We have a couple graphics on that I want to pop up just to show our viewers. Let's see, that is the lecture, the Nobel Prize 2015 in Physiology or Medicine for highly effective anti-parasitic drugs. And of course, they called it a parasitic drug, but we know that it does other things. And then there's also ivermectin safety in infants and children under 15 kilograms, which we have learned is actually about 33 pounds. So kids under 33 pounds can use ivermectin, but yet they're not going to give it to grown adults for COVID, but you can give it to an infant. There's another study. So all of these studies are online, but it's been approved, is my point. It's been approved for use, but they're just not letting it fly. And then there's another one, 4 different articles, the Nobel Prize in Physiology, celebrating the 2015 Nobel Prize, anti-parasitic drugs, sweep Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2015, and ivermectin, I don't know this word, and you say it for me, somebody.
Enigmatic?
That one, multifaceted wonder drug. They call it a wonder drug, continues to surprise and exceed expectations, but yet we can't use it.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
It's kind of good cop, bad cop, good drug, bad drug. Depends on the I guess the flavor of the day, the what's happening on the ground at the time, in our societies. But yeah, as I talked to Dr. Pierre Corey, who's a frontline doctor, last December, and that's what his exact words were something similar, that this drug is it's a miracle drug. And he was talking about it, how it could and should stop the pandemic in its tracks. And and he was speaking specifically to the anti-inflammatory and antiviral properties. And so there you go. That just even proves how much better. And it should get another couple Nobel Prizes for the effects that it has for COVID-19.
And Dr. Brown, it's very affordable too, right?
It is. It tends to be more affordable in other countries. I have noticed that the cost has gone up in the United States. They are using it in India, around the globe, and it is exceedingly affordable. It's still affordable in this country. I've had some patients anywhere from out of pocket after insurance, anywhere from $10 to $50. But if you're going to put a price on keeping yourself out of the hospital potentially, or not getting as ill with the virus as you would have otherwise, that's money well spent.
For sure. And does insurance help cover costs for that if it's not for COVID reasons? Is there a way around that, or?
Yeah, right now it does. But most, I've dealt with a fair amount of pharmacies that when my patients pick up the medication, the pharmacist can get kind of ugly and say, why don't you just get the COVID vaccine? It's safe. Or you do know that this is to treat parasites and this is unsafe for what you're taking it for. And, or he's the only one prescribing it in this area, so the pharmacists are, that I've dealt with, not all of them, there've been some very good ones, but too many that are not being professional, to say the least, let alone ethical, with
but the
putting
vaccine
forward.
Doesn't prevent you from getting it, right? This is for treatment once you get it. So it doesn't make sense for them to tell you to get the jab when you're already sick.
Yeah, you already you already have it. So.
And Dr. Brown, what are some things that people can do that maybe they don't want to get the vaccine and maybe they want to prevent it and be as healthy as they possibly can? Things like vitamin D or glutathione, taking lysine. What can they do for some cellular health, since that's your expertise?
Yes, that's a great question. And I think that an exciting possibilities with regard to what is the science and the pharmaceuticals trying to do? Are they trying to copy what nature's doing? And in many cases, yes, but you just can't do it as well as God does it. And so, spirulina is one example. It's been around a long time. You can do a lot of PubMed searches on it with anti-cancer and spirulina, anti-inflammatory, antiviral effects of spirulina, which it's a green algae powder that you can get something like that at a natural grocer's, and it's incredible at immune health, at prevention of COVID-19, as well as a beetroot powder, same thing, which is effectively making our endothelium, or the inside of our blood vessels, healthy. As you know, when you get COVID-19, the blood gets sticky, and then we can end up with some clotting problems. So if you're taking the beetroot powder, that's helping the health of the endothelium of the blood vessels. And the spirulina it's a fuel for our cells, for our mitochondria. And one of the biggest things that COVID-19 does is it obliterates mitochondria. And so we lose our mitochondria, we get really low in our glutathione levels, it's like a protein. Well, the things that we can use to build back that protein back up and fuel that cell again is a spirulina, a beetroot, an L-cysteine, and that's an exceedingly well-studied amino acid type nutraceutical. It's kind of like a food, if you want to think of it that way, and food for our damaged cells, our mitochondria, to help fight the infections.
Yeah, I know a lot of, I'm a runner, so I automatically put both of those in my shakes. I take a beet supplement every single day. And then I know vitamin D, we were talking about that before the show as well, is really important because that encapsulates the cell. And how COVID is so effective is because or any virus is because it invades the cell. Is that correct? And then it takes over part of your DNA, right?
Right. Specifically speaking of the vitamin D, the Dr. Ryan Cole, he's a pathologist, Mayo trained. I believe he's in Wyoming or Idaho, but he has looked at a lot of cases of COVID-19 tissue underneath the microscope he's got his pathology clinics out there. And exactly, he gave a nice discussion, maybe about 20 minutes long, about the value of the vitamin D levels and how folks that had an adequate level of vitamin D were either not getting sick with the COVID-19 or they were not ones that got hospitalized or ended up in the ICU. So some of the best prevention we can do is the vitamin supplementation and supplementation with nature's gifts, beets and algae, and it's fantastic stuff that I think everybody should have in their pantry going forward in the next few years, because it's a very, very protective mechanism. And do PubMed searches on those. Those have been funded by us, and interesting, they prove and validate the benefits of them. But when we could have used them coming into this pandemic, we had that information. That information didn't get out there by the sources that knew the benefits of these things. So we have to ask ourselves why.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to have some more questions, but we're going to have to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me.
We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are going to have our 4th segment with Dr. Brad Meyer. It's just, you know, we have been talking about COVID. We have been talking about the vaccine. We've been talking about all of this for a year now. We've been on the air almost a year. And it's like, I hate to sound repetitive, but there's always new information coming up. And not only that, but it's been around long enough that we know some of these things work. Where before it was like, well, maybe ivermectin might work, but there is proof that it works. And so that's the part that we just want, you know, we just want everybody to know that, you know, and the more we talk about it, the more the word gets out there. So that's why we're kind of doing a review of this again. But welcome back to the show, Dr. Brad.
Thank you.
So, okay, so then we were talking a little bit about on the break about the glutathione. We kind of started that in the last segment. And then I got an email from Dr. Ted Fogarty. Basically, this is, as the federal government has stockpiles of DTPA for radiation disaster, it strikes me that a case could be made for glutathione producing amino acid complex to be worthy of consideration for stockpiling as well. Glutathione is the oldest and most natural chelator of mammalian tissues. Just a thought, the pleiotropic power of this amplifier of detoxification is really in the public interest. And that also had come from a doctor. So it's like, you know, there's so much information out there, but they won't let mainstream media share it. So that's why we're sharing it here. But give us a thought on this glutathione quickly.
Sure, it is incredible, and it is something that it's produced in our cells at the mitochondrial level, and it is a fuel source, and it helps heal our damaged cells. It helps prevent and fight against oncoming attacks from invaders such as a virus, and so. As well as Dr. Fogarty was mentioning there, the chelator effects of it, meaning it can bind to things that we don't want it in our system and detoxify or get rid of them. So, some of the metals that are in the medications that we may take or that keep our vaccines in a transportable manner that doesn't allow them to expire quickly. Well, some of the ways they do that is with the metal in there, and that metal has the potential to cross the blood-brain barrier and effectively poison our cells. And so how do we get rid of the poison? And that's going back to a spirulina, which can produce glutathione, or medications or nutraceuticals like an L-cysteine or an NAC. They help make glutathione, help your body make it. As well, your body does it on its own. So if we're doing hyperbaric treatment or increased atmospheric pressure with oxygen that's in our air naturally under a little bit of pressure, that also fuels the production of glutathione. So we're trying to amplify what our body was intended to do to help fight disease and help fight infection with the use of these items that have been around for ages and are quite simple. And they come down to the basic physics and how we can do so much with just a little bit of atmospheric pressure, oxygen, and some nutraceuticals, food.
Yeah, very. Okay, so we talked about, ways to prevent COVID, things, supplements and stuff like that. What happens if someone has gotten the vaccine, and is there a way for them to kind of detoxify the vaccine, whether they had wanted to get it or whatever the reason? Is there things out there that can help them?
Sure.
That way?
I think the jury is still out on that. I would go back to the basics, that what is good for a cell and to detoxify the body before a vaccination or a jab with a COVID-19 jab, that would apply to those also that got it. My hope is that the things like a beetroot powder, a spirulina, I'd be interested to know the effects of ivermectin as well, considering it's such a low risk medication and the risks that we're seeing come in side effects from this vaccine. If I'm in those shoes, I would want to be trying everything possible that is safe to heal my body. And so that would be the route that I would go. Some of the same things that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And not make it worse with getting a booster shot.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many unknowns. April, did you have a question?
Yeah, so let's say someone does end up with the vaccine and then they get sick again. And what I don't like is how they're hiding that people are getting sick that have the vaccine. And what I also don't like is that they're hiding the side effects too of the vaccine. So are there ways for us to research? I live in a divided household. My husband is ill. I think he needs the vaccine. I think that's great for him. But for me, I have got several autoimmune. I've fought so hard to be healthy and to rebuild my body. Are there sites that are safe that we can go research where we can trust, these are the side effects or, these are the risks?
So I would say that as anything applies, I've seen trust the expert put out there by some physicians. Well, I don't trust every mechanic. I trust every good mechanic. I trust every good teacher, and I trust every good physician. And so how do we determine what is good? It's by the fruit that they bear and the company they keep. And if they are out there practicing what they're preaching and, for instance, speaking out against what the main push is and the main narrative, what is there to be gained for us to be doing that? But I will give you one example of a trusted source that I follow, and my gut tells me that this is a great source, and it's Dr. Ryan Cole, the pathologist, because he has looked at the damage of the tissue from the vaccine under a microscope himself, and he's Mayo trained, and he's been absolutely demagogued for putting these facts out there. The fact that he's seeing the spike protein damage in the heart tissue and the ovaries, when he looks at that tissue under the microscope, again, you're going to be absolutely lambasted by taking that stance. So what's in it for him to do that? So
is that Dr. Ryan Cole, C-O-L-E or K-O-H-L?
Right.
How do you spell it?
C-O-L-E.
C-O-L-E. All right.
Right.
I suppose it won't be long before he's banned, and everything that you find on the internet under him will probably soon be banned. So viewers, one quick message: go ahead and try to research it as quickly as possible before the stuff is removed.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so we only have maybe a minute or so left. What would you like to leave with our viewers? Is there a cocktail that, whether it's the D's, the B's, what would you suggest in the last minute here?
Well, Dr. Fogarty and I are working with Kevin Overlander in North Dakota to put together kind of like a COVID treatment package. So that's something that will be available in the coming days through a prescription and a telehealth visit. So more to come on that. But what
we
is
would
going
like
to be
to be the first to announce that for you too, by the way.
yeah, absolutely. But ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, if you're not being prescribed that, then spirulina, beetroot, vitamin D3, 5 to 10,000 international units, the NAC, which you can still, I believe, get over the counter. I think they were trying to stop that, but doxycycline, that's an antibiotic. A Z-Pak, it's an antibiotic, but it has anti-inflammatory properties and some antiviral properties. And so you put a combination together of a lot of these things, you're going to have a better chance at defeating the effects of the virus.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Brad, we do thank you for coming today. It's always a pleasure to have you on and get firsthand information for someone who's been there and done that. And God bless you on your journey, because you're going out there, you're starting a new business, and God doesn't make mistakes. So this is a blessing that you were let go from the one business so you can start an even better business and help people along the way. So thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Anytime. Happy to come back.
Awesome. All right, we will be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit. Plus, Nathan's Hot Dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to pull them if you want to hold them. New York to go. We deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to the lighter side. Isn't it fantastic having someone with so much knowledge? You just want to squeeze even more out of him, you know. But it's just so good to have someone like that on that can validate that we are not crazy. We are not crazy, and so there are so many things that we can do. But let's move into our lighter side. You know, we like to leave our viewers with something fun to think about. But, you know, right now there's Facebook and social media is just full of back to school photos. So we thought we would show you some back to school photo fails. Well, first of all, it's like, brace yourself. Back to school pictures are coming. And isn't that the truth? They are. They're everywhere. So check some of these out. It's like... It's just great. So I can just see that happening, but we'll just scroll through these real quickly. Here's another. Oh, that one.
He looks thrilled.
Very thrilled. Very thrilled.
Oh,
right? That one's pretty excited to be going as well. I don't know if the sisters are staying. And then this one, of course. Look, we got 6th grade, 3rd grade, 1st graders not having any of it. And then, of course, one of them evidently probably couldn't even get to school. It looked like he maybe was sick that day.
Oh, no.
Oh, and then, of
Mom's
course,
happy.
Let's leave with this one. Here is the mother. The kids are all in the background like, oh, my God, Mother. Are you kidding me?
It's been a long year for Mom. No.
Or a long summer.
Right?
Yeah. So what do you guys remember about, did you guys have back to school photos? I don't remember my mom taking a picture of us.
I don't remember it being a big deal except for your outfit. Your outfit was the big deal. You know, like that was what you saved up for and you wanted to look your best.
Really? See, so I wore uniforms up until the 6th grade, so it was like skirt or pants. That was your hardest decision to make before your first day.
It was. I saw that too on that very first photo. You could tell that that was a private school photo as well.
It's kind of nice to not have to stress about what you had to wear.
And I remember my backpack. Did you have could you have whatever backpack you wanted?
Yes, you could. That was
That's a big deal. You got to, I mean, it says a lot about you what kind of backpack you have.
Right?
Well, see, and we grew up, I'm a little bit older than you ladies, but my mother sewed us school bags. So they're always made out of a canvas, like a plastic canvas on the outside, but we all had a school bag, and I remember my blue school bag. But we used it year after year.
Yeah.
We didn't get a new one every year.
That's
so
cool. Made it special, though.
It does, absolutely, and those are just great memories, almost as great as the bread bags inside the snow boots, right?
I didn't grow up here, so I don't even know what that means.
Oh, well.
Yes, that's a subject for another time, right?
Right, yeah. So you still have a sister in school, right?
Yeah, so I got a back to school picture from her today, so.
Oh, fun.
Aww.
It's crazy. I know I took one every year. It was always whether you wanted to or not, and someday you line them all up next to each other, maybe when you graduate, and then you never look at them again.
Right, the graduation parties, you know, people have those out, it seems, quite a bit. But what's your best memory of, say, let's just jump way back to elementary school. What kind of memories do you have?
I mean, it was probably like getting to ride the bus again, like that first day back to school, you got to see all your friends, and I got to ride the school bus for like 45 minutes every day, so not just like a quick 10-minute trip like a lot of people do. So you were so excited to see your bus driver, and we'd always get treats, and I mean, we were spoiled. We had a great bus driver, and everybody on there was so fun, and it was just, that was probably my best memory, getting to go back to riding the school bus and hanging out with those kids again because you spent so much time with them that you really enjoyed them.
Missed
You
them,
had
yeah.
to.
Right? How about you, April?
Oh man, I used to love playing on the monkey bars. So the things that we don't have now, right? Like
Oh,
the
they're
monkey
too dangerous.
bars.
Because someone might get hurt.
Or and I love the merry-go-round. You know, like just playing and being with your friends. And I used to love cafeteria too. I don't know why, but it was just so odd. Like I love food, but I just remember loving to play and just and eat and just socialize.
So what was your
and-
favorite cafeteria, like lunch, school lunch?
Pizza. The weird
Was it the rectangle, the big-
pizza, yes. And I always wanted to get the fries, but the fries were extra, you know?
Oh, gosh. See, we didn't have any of that. We came from a small school, but no, it was just more home cooked. Like we used to have meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and, you know, vegetables. I can remember one year. That they had a pea fight, and it turned into a mess. But I don't think they ever served peas again. But so the kids are lined up on one side, you know, in line, getting into the cafeteria line, and the kids sitting at the tables were all just swatting peas with their spoons. And I mean, I swear to God, the whole wall, like the floor, and it was like, it was a disaster, and kids were in trouble for that. But you know, those are memories, right? Did it hurt anybody? No. But did it make a mess? Yes. And so, you know, but they were held responsible, cleaned up after it, but you just never did it again.
Right.
Back then, you got the Board of Education. So.
Do you know who else is really excited to go back to school? So I trained several teachers, and they have been so excited all week, and I could not get them to calm down today. When I was training them this morning, I mean, people were smiling and excited. They couldn't, I mean, like they were just bouncing when they were running, and it was just so awesome. The teachers are so excited to be back too.
They have a lot of back to school pictures that you see teachers like 15th year or whatever, you know, like, so those are cool to see too. That's always fun.
Really exciting.
That's great. Okay, we only have a little bit of time left, like 30 seconds. What are you guys doing for the weekend?
I'm going to be home this weekend for once.
For once. You're gone quite a bit.
I am, so I'm just going to take
I'm working out, working it, and working on God.
There you
go.
go.
Yeah,
That's the way to be. And I guess I'm off to Fargo for a wedding, and I get to see the kids. The kids will all be in one area, so it'll be kind of great to see them again. But we want to thank you guys all for joining us again on this beautiful Friday. We had a little bit of rain, so that's a blessing. But we'll see you next time right here on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive, and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.